Hi, this is Clayton Skinner. Hi, I'm Clayton Skinner. My name is Clayton Skinner. My name is Clayton Skinner. Welcome back to Be on the Beat.
Welcome back to Be on the Beat.
Welcome to Be on the Beat.
Hello everyone, my name is Clayton Skinner. Welcome back to Be on the Beat. In this episode we are going to be doing quads. We're going to be doing them with 16th notes and 32nd notes. Now, if you're unfamiliar what a quad is, what that is it's when you use, just a rhythmic pattern that you use all four limbs to achieve. In some cases you can use three limbs, and we'll get to that. But basically what you're doing is you're hitting twice with each hand, followed by twice with your feet. So you'll be going, say, right, left, and then with your feet, right, left. And you want to try to create a rhythmic, you want to use the rhythm, say, like a 16th note as your basis for it. So for instance, if you were using 16th notes, you would go 1, E, and the and being with your feet, and then you just keep playing that in a very smooth way. So the first thing that you want to do when you're getting to know these is you want to just be able to simply play them smooth and play them in control. So I'm going to give you a demonstration of just slow, and this is how you should start out if you're not familiar with it. Slow, playing each hit exactly the same distance apart as you did the last one. So you want to make it as smooth as you can. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get used to playing this very slow and then slowly ramping up without a metronome. So here's an example of that. So now we'll try the same concept, only we'll do the same thing, but only we're going to do it with one foot. You want to use your lead foot. And again, you want to make sure that every hit is spaced properly, so you're in perfect rhythmic control. Only going to use one foot, and you want to start really slow and then slowly build your way up. So here it is with one foot. So those patterns don't mean anything until you've actually lined it up with a metronome, or until you've lined it up with a pulse. Now that pulse could either be from the beat that you're playing or from the metronome that you're practicing with. Either one, it doesn't really matter. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these as 16th notes. Now what that will mean is that whatever you have the metronome set to, you'll set the metronome to your quarter note, and that means that your lead hand, in my case it's the right hand, is going to be lining up with that metronome pulse, and then your other three limbs will follow after that. So it'll be like lead hand, hand, foot, foot. And those four hits have to take place within that first pulse, and then you'll repeat again as the pulses go on. So I'm about to give you a demonstration of that. I'm going to give you a slow demonstration, I'm going to give you a fast demonstration. The slow one is just going to be with the snare, which is what I suggest you start with. Just start with the snare, no matter how fast you're going. And then the fast one, I'm going to start moving it around. And you don't have to do it like that. It's up to you. You can start moving around. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give you that demonstration of your lead hand playing the quarter note. So it'll be like the quarter note, pop, 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 pop. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by the quads following directly after that. So your right hand will always stay the same speed. So that's the key to this. So now we're going to be doing 30-second notes. What that means is you're going to be playing twice as much per pulse, which may require you to actually slow the metronome down. Not a big deal though. Obviously, you would do something like this because there's more notes fitting in. Obviously, this is something that you would do at a slower tempo beat-wise. So the one thing that you just need to keep in mind is with the 16th notes, every time your lead hand hit, that was when the pulse went on. And this one, you're going to be doing each set, so ba ba boom boom ba ba boom boom, within the pulse. So it'll be like you're going 1 and 2 and you want to have your metronome set to the 1 2 3 4s, your quarter notes. That's what that is. Now there's only so many speed, there's so much speed, or so small of a speed range that you want to be able to do these. If you do it too slow, it's too awkward, and this applies to the 16th notes as well. It's too awkward. If you do it too fast, it sounds like crap. It's just a hum, and you don't want to hum. If it sounds like a hum, you're going too fast, and you probably aren't keeping up, but that's really neither here nor there. So when I did the demonstration with the 16th note, I did them at 100 and then 200. This one you want to slow all the way down to, say, 70. And then peak, I would say, is about 130. You may be able to do it faster, you may be able to do it slower, but these are the two that I chose. So here's the demonstration. I'll do a fast demonstration, a slow demonstration, just on the snare. Fast demonstration, all over the place. And again, I'm going to lead in with playing the 8th notes on the snare and then switch to the quads. So pay attention to that. So a good exercise, so that you can get comfortable with these, is to actually combine the two together. So you have, like, you set the metronome, and you have it where you're playing, where you're lining up every one of the first hand hits with it, and then you double that instantly and play the 32nd note. So you start with 16ths, 32nds, and then you go back and forth. And then practice playing all over the place while slowing down. It's just a good exercise. Now, when determining the speed to do this, you want to first determine your floor, like the slowest you can go with each one of them and the fastest you can go with each one of them, and then find the common ground. So my common ground was with the 16th notes, it sounds best when you do it from 100 beats per minute all the way up to 200 beats per minute, and the 32nd notes were 70 beats per minute to 130. So somewhere in there is your comfort zone. So basically from 100 to 130. So anywhere between 100 and 130 is the best place to go to some 16th notes to 32nd notes. So here, check the demonstration out. Just try it, it's fun. So now we're going to apply it to a groove. So what we're going to be doing is you're going to be playing a groove, 1 bar groove, whatever groove you want. Keep it simple at first and then slowly ramp up the difficulty. And then you're going to switch over to the 16th note quad pattern. And the only thing you got to pay attention to is the fact that when you're playing like a groove at any tempo, you might be playing 8th notes on the hi-hat. Remember, you're now switching to more of a quarter note feel with your right hand. You're not. That'll be for the 32nd notes. But so you're actually, it almost feels like you're slowing down a little bit. So just get used to playing that. It's one thing doing it with the metronome, but when you're actually playing it with a band, it can be a little bit different. So now another thing that I want to go over, and this is important as well, is every other exercise we've done, it's kind of blended in together. So you never really had to deal with this, but we need to learn how to resolve it. A lot of the times after doing like a crazy fill like this, it's like, well, where do I go with it? Because most of the time when you go back into a beat from a fill, you want to hit that cymbal, bam, right on beat 1. The problem is that you've gone 4E and A. Okay, so then you got to figure out how to resolve it. So it's two different ways of resolving it. You can naturally resolve it, which would be to just allow your feet to hit that extra hit right after it. So it'll be like 4E, your feet will go and then go 1 with your feet, boom, boom, bam, and hit that cymbal on B1. Or you can do an artificial or like a forced resolve where you just kind of abandon the 16th note quad or 32nd note quad and just say, do like a little kind of abandon it around beat 4 and then do whatever you want just to kind of end the quad. So you're taking your feet out of the equation, you're just using your hands, which will make it easier to hit that cymbal. We're going to be doing the natural resolve with the 16th notes because this whole thing can be determined by either your speed or the patterns that you're using. In this case, it's the speed. So the 16th notes won't be as fast as 32nd notes. We'll be able to do the natural resolve a little bit easier. So keep that in mind when you're doing the 16th notes, and make sure you start it a little bit slower as you hit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam. So then try to focus on hitting those two bass drum hits, and then following with a third that you line up with your cymbal. Anyway, check out the demonstration. Take your time. That's all I have to say. So now we're going to be doing the same thing, playing a beat, one beat, and then following it up with a 32nd note quad fill. This one's a little bit easier than the 16th note, believe it or not, because your right hand is already playing the 8th notes. So when you switch to the quads, the sound effects probably weren't necessary. Okay, so in this one, last one we did the natural resolve. This one we're going to do the artificial, the forced resolve. I'm just going to play because there's so many of them going on, around the time I get to beat 4, I'm going to just kind of do like a little thing, just kind of end it by abandoning essentially the quads and just doing like a little boom, boom, boom. Drummer talk. Just listen to what I do and just give it a try. If you can do the natural resolve, by all means. But you want to try working on both, the natural and the forced. So. So again, most of these patterns rely on speed. Not necessarily rely on it because they need it. They rely on it because certain speeds work, certain speeds don't. And it's important to understand which of which is which. If you're going in the 150 range, probably not a good idea to do 30-second notes. Might be too fast. And it probably sounds cool to do it, but at the same time, it doesn't. Because if it's too fast, it comes off as a hum, and that doesn't work. Unless you're using processed drums. Some of you may be happy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Try to spend as much time with this as you can. It's important. The better you get at it, obviously the more control you'll have. And this is an impressor. This will impress everybody. And you can do it in any style of music. So, yeah. All right. That's it for this episode. If you want to get a hold of me, YouTube, you can get a hold of me through Twitter, Facebook, ClaytonSkinner.com, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Hope to hear from you.